Hey all, welcome back to the Fire and Water Cooking Channel. I'm Darren. Today I'm going to do definitely something different, definitely something I haven't done before. I've cooked lamb before, but I'm going to cook 3 different kinds of lamb, 3 different ways, or actually 2 I'm going to cook about the same way, but I've got 3 different kinds of lamb. I've got a rack of lamb, I've got a lamb shoulder, and I've got some lamb T-bones. I've cooked these before. They turned out pretty good. These are all from Porter Road. They're all domestic lamb. These are all going to be in a book that I'm writing for Amazon, a cookbook. We're going to start off doing the shoulder because it's going to take the longest to cook, and the other 2 we'll finish up in a little bit. But we're going to get this lamb shoulder started. I'll be right back.
Smoking, grilling, getting hot and hotter. Sous vide and chilling from fire and water.
Alright all, so I got my lamb shoulder out of the pack, and I'm going to take a lesson from what I learned doing the lamb ribs last time. And you can probably see the video up here, I'll link to it, where I did some lamb ribs I'd never done before. They were really fatty, and they had a thick fat cap on. I should have removed before I cooked them sous vide, but I didn't. And just looking at this lamb shoulder, it is a bone in. It's got a kind of a bone that runs sideways here, but it does got a fat cap on here, and I am going to go ahead and trim some of that off because I really don't want what happened last time with the ribs to happen again with this, where it was just really fatty. It was really giving me lots of problems on the smoker with causing lots of flare-ups. So I'm going to remove some of this fat. But that's it. I just trimmed up enough fat and silver skin. You can tell that's a lot. But I'm going to put the list of the rub I'm going to use below. It's got some citrus hints, garlic, onion, salt, pepper, herbs, rosemary, all that, thyme. And we're going to get this all seasoned up. Now the shoulder is kind of like any shoulder on an animal. It's kind of tough because it does a lot of the work of moving them around. So it's going to take longer than both the chops and the rack. So this we're going to actually cook for 24 hours in the sous vide. And then we're going to smoke it after. So let me get this in the sous vide bag, and we'll throw it in. So I'll see you in about 18 hours or so. That's when we'll put the lamb chops and the rack in, and we'll finish those up. We'll cook these all, finish them all at the same time, and that's it. I'll be back. Alright guys, I'm back. We've got about a little over 2 hours left on here, and I'll probably let it run a little bit longer because we need to cook our lamb for about 3.5 to 4 hours. So I'll probably let this run a little bit longer than the 24 hours that we had on there. So I got my rack of lamb here, as you can see, and it's kind of a small little rack. Same thing as like with the ribs and the shoulder. I got a pretty good fat cap on there, and I'm going to trim a lot of that off since we're, like I said, again, we're sous videing this. A lot of this isn't going to render. We're going to sous vide this at a lower temperature as well. So we're going to trim most of this fat off of here. So that's probably another 1/4 pound of fat right there. So the rub I'm going to use for these is a little bit different than what I used on the shoulder. So this I'm doing more of a barbecue type. This is going to be a little bit more of a I guess, Middle Eastern type with some cardamom, cumin, some stuff like that. A little bit more pepper, orange peel, lemon peel, rosemary, salt, pepper. There'll be a link below with the rub. We're going to use the same rub for both of these. Just going to put a little on each side, and just like anything else we do sous vide, we'll put a little bit more on after we get it out of the bag. I got it at 138. 138 we're going to do, or 140. It'll be 140 I think we're going to do. 140 for about 3.5 to 4 hours. Get these done, and then we're going to sear them up. All right, lamb 3 ways. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I got the lamb shoulder out of the over here. The chops and the rack are still in the sous vide there. They're about done, but I'm going to put the shoulder on the smoker for a little bit. So I'm going to let this cook for just a little bit longer than I am the other two. The other two I'm actually going to, instead of smoking, we're going to just grill them up, sear them up on the PK grill. I got that going. I've got the Kamado Joe rolling smoke. That's where we're going to put this lamb shoulder. And as you can see, I've got my meat stick in there. Just going to go ahead and take it out. I don't really need to measure it because it's not going to be on there very long, but it held temp the whole time. So it was really good having the meat stick in there to measure that. We're going to go ahead. I got this different rub for the shoulder. It's more of a barbecue-y type. Even though we took a lot of that fat off of there, there still is some fat still on there, which is good. I didn't want to take all the fat off, but that just means I don't need to really do anything as far as putting any kind of fat on here to crisp it up. It's got plenty on there, and I'm going to go ahead and put this on the Kamado Joe. I got pecan wood in there, so that's what we're going to use to get some smoke to this. So let me just toss it on there. I'll be right back. All right, guys, the shoulder is in the smoker, doing really good. It's got a nice color to it already. I got my rack here out, and I did pat these dry already. Just didn't feel a need to show it to you guys. Got my chops. Just adding a little bit more of this seasoning to them. And I got my PK grill all up, ready to sear these off. All right, just a little on this side. I'm not going to put it on the bone side of that rack, just on the fatty side here. All right, so I got them re-seasoned out of the sous vide. The shoulder's just about done. All right, I'm going to get these on the PK grill. We're going to sear them up. I'll be back. First, I want to show you guys the shoulder on the Kamado Joe. If you can take a look at that. It's a lot of smoke, I know, but it's got a nice color to it. Looking really good there. That's actually probably just about done. Close that back up. We'll get over to the PK. All right, guys, I got my PKs up over 400 degrees. So we're gonna get some searing going on here. First, I'm gonna go ahead and sear up on the rack here. I'm gonna do the bone side real quick. And we're going to put these chops right next to it. I'm going to close this up for a couple minutes to let that sear up. And we'll be right back. Alright guys, I just flipped those and they're looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and shut it one more time. I'm going to take the shoulder out and we're going to take a taste of that. Then we'll pull these off. Alright, I'll be back. Alright guys, let's pull this shoulder off because I think it is more than done. You see that color there? It's awesome. Nice and mahogany. We're going to go ahead and pull that off and cut it up. Take a bite while our other stuff is finishing. Alright guys, this lamb shoulder turned out perfect. 24 hours was the perfect time on this. Got just enough smoke with that pecan. Tasted really good with that rub. Highly recommend doing some smoked lamb shoulder, domestic from Porter Road. Check it out. It's really good. The lamb T-bones came out perfect as well. Medium doneness, nice quick sear. That Mediterranean rub was really good. They were nice and moist and tender. Highly recommend those as well. If you don't like lamb, you never thought you did, get the domestic lamb from Porter Road. The chops as well turned out really good on the rack. I should have trimmed a little bit more of the fat, but they turned out really good as far as the doneness, juiciness, and tenderness. Well, thanks for watching. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Make sure you follow us on the Fire and Water Cooking Podcast, and I'll see you again in the next video.